Hey, Speech 1321. I'm Professor Lisa McNeil, so I am your instructor for business and professional organization communication this summer. Hope everybody had a nice Memorial Day, and we'll just go ahead and get going. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over my Part 1 syllabus. So if you have it, I'm kind of double screening it here. If you have it and you've downloaded it, then you can follow along as we go through this lecture. And here I'm still trying to see what the best angle is. Anyway, so welcome to Business and Professional Communication, as I said before. One thing to kind of know about this course before I do move into my syllabus. So this course is different from Speech 1315, which is what we typically refer to as the public speaking class or fundamentals of effective speech. That one is really focused on you give speeches all semester long. Okay, the focus of this speech class is a little bit different, where you're going to have a couple of, or actually three presentations. This isn't a speech class per se, where you're learning how to do certain types of speeches and you're giving speeches all semester long. No, there's a lot of material in here that talks about how to communicate within an organization. What sorts of communication do you use on the job? And I want you to think about a question for me. And I don't know how many of you work out there, if you have jobs. And if you don't have jobs, you can also kind of think of the instructors you've had or the classrooms you've been in, because those are sort of mini situations too, because the teacher is really the manager of the class. And think about the classrooms you've been in if you don't work. The students in there and how students get along, and also how the teacher conducts the class and how the teacher's leadership style and how the teacher gets along with the class, right, can make or break the class. A lot of times it has a lot to do with it, does it not? Now, of course, sometimes it has to do with whether or not you're interested in the subject matter. So that's true. But kind of think about the classroom setting as sort of a metaphor if you've never really had a job before. And I don't know what types of jobs you all are, those of you who do have a job are working. Hopefully I'm going to find that out in the speech of introduction. I'm going to go over the instructions for how to do that assignment in a separate video lecture. But I bring this up because I want you to think about something. So those of you who have worked, or if you don't work, in the classroom. So what do you think makes your job more miserable? Okay, or a classroom more miserable? The tasks you have to do at work, or the people you have to interact with at work? Okay, so think about that. Which do you think makes you more miserable or also happiest? The tasks, the actual work you do, or the people? And there's going to be different answers to this. And of course, the true answer really might be both, right? So, but that's part of what the goal of this course is. How do you navigate? How do you become a better communicator within the job situation? So even something like sending emails, making sure your email is clear, making sure it goes to the person that it's supposed to go to, that you haven't broken the chain of command. So how do you interact with your colleagues at work? Even customer service. There's even a section on customer service in chapter 3. So, and then you're going to do a final sales presentation, which I'll talk about too. But how do you present yourself at work? Not only with interpersonal communication, but also written communication, because you do have to be careful. So that's kind of the goal of this course. It's a little bit broader than just the public speaking course, although that's a great course too. I teach that as well. But this is more targeted towards the work. And of course, you have the interview. We talk about the job interview too. How do you make a good impression? How do you communicate in an interview? So let me just start. That's sort of a little broad overview. Let me just start then with the part 1 of my syllabus. And I already introduced myself. I'm Lisa McNeil. I'm an associate professor of speech. So yes, I am tenured. I've been teaching at EPCC, oh my gosh, for like 20 years. No, how could that be? Oh, and if you're interested, one of my wonderful colleagues, Erica Portillo, who's a speech instructor here, she has put together a Facebook, this beautiful Facebook page and also Instagram page for specifically for the EPCC speech discipline. So look for it because she's featured our faculty and done a beautiful job with these little wonderful profiles. So if you have time or you're curious or you're on Instagram and you're bored, look up the EPCC speech discipline and you can see the rest of our faculty. So that's me again, associate professor of speech, tenured. There's my telephone, but I'm not in my office this summer. They're still with COVID. Yes, thank God everything's opening up, but the college is still finding its way, figuring out what we're going to do in the fall. Latest I've heard is that it's going to be a combo in the fall of we're going to be back to face, but it's going to be a little different. So I'm not sure though, that could change with the new rules and the new recommendations coming out from the CDC, and then of course from the state of Texas. And I'm normally at Valle Verde. My office is B275, but again, you don't have to really worry about that. I did list some office hours here, but where I'm available for video conferencing. But as you know, this class is asynchronous. We don't have definite days and times that we meet. So if there, though, is a time that you would like to speak to me one-on-one, email me and we can set up, an appointment, a Zoom appointment. Now, I don't really use Zoom. They don't want us to for some reason. We use Microsoft Teams through Blackboard, but it's real easy. I just send you the link, you click on it, and you should be able to get right in. I'm also going to have maybe once a week, starting next week, an optional live group conference. So you can tune in then and you can ask questions then also. So that's sort of another thing. And there's my email, but I should pop up in the system, so we should be good to go. Of course, this is summer, so this is going to move right along. And you know what? I'm telling myself that is right now as much as I'm telling you that. So, but just to kind of keep on top, the main way that I communicate with you is through those Blackboard announcements. That's where I might change the schedule. I might make the due date later. I won't make it earlier. But if I need to move a due date, if something has happened that I need to communicate with you, so check those announcements, those Blackboard announcements. That's my primary way of communicating with you. The required text and materials, I did already put that up yesterday, but it is Cheryl Hamilton's Communicating for Results. And this is it's the 11th edition. This is what the textbook looks like. Now, if you purchase the one at EPCC, it is a custom edition, and it comes in the bubble wrap, and then it's hole punched and you put it into your own binder. So, and that's to make it a little cheaper for you. But I don't care. You can either get that one, you could buy a used copy, you could buy an electronic version. I don't use all the bells and whistles. Like I said, I'm a face-to-face person. Okay. Degrees, and I also have a degree in theater. So yeah, I'm more of a face-to-face person. So that being said, that's why I don't use all of the ancillaries and things that come with it, the little codes that you put in to access all the online stuff, because a lot of students, it is very expensive, and a lot of students sometimes do buy it used and they don't have the access codes, and it kind of just turns into a big nightmare that I don't care for. Now, if you did purchase it and you paid the full price and you get all the bells and whistles, that's great. Use them. Okay, use them. They have good study materials and that kind of thing. But just to kind of give you a heads up on that. So the 11th edition or the special edition at EPCC, you can go to the bookstore there at Valle Verde. And I already told you my announcement. And you also really, it's very important, you may have already seen this. So even though this is not the public speaking class, you do have to make some videos of yourself presenting. And there's 3 times you do that in this class. The speech of introduction, which I'm going to talk about in another lecture coming up soon. Your interview assignment, where you're going to kind of set it up like it's a mock interview, and you're going to record yourself giving those answers, the oral answers, as if you were in an interview. You'll see it's not all the questions, but some 5 key standard interview questions. And then the final video that you need to do is the final sales presentation that I mentioned before. Now, so what does this mean for you all? You need the ability, of course, to access Blackboard. You need a computer. You need a way to record yourself, and then you need to be able to upload that recording to YouTube. You're going to create a YouTube account. Don't worry, you're going to upload your videos, but you're going to put them on there as unlisted so that other people can't view them unless you give them the link. Do you see what I mean? So unlisted, and then it would be great if you could then go ahead and embed them into Blackboard when you submit them. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. Take a deep breath. I've already posted a video on there given by my colleague, okay? And he explains to you the step-by-step process, so you can look at the video. If you get into a complete bind and you know of a better way, do it. But in my experience, you all, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. When students do it a different way, a lot of times it doesn't work for whatever reason. But we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. But the main thing is you need to have a way to record yourself and a way to upload the speech. So be advised of that. Once again, my colleague he made the video for the Communication Studies department. It's for all of us. So that's there. And like I said, I'm going to explain this more in the speech of introduction video, but I just want to give you a heads up that that's one of the requirements of the course. And EPCC, the website, it has all these tools to help you if you're not familiar with Blackboard or you're not tech savvy, okay, like me. And you can always call the IT department with your questions. So you can ask me, but I may say, you know what, I don't know, call IT. When I say IT, that's the technology department through EPCC. You would call the main number and ask for IT. So that's what you need, and your privacy will be maintained with you put your video as unlisted. Then here are the course requirements. Of course, I follow the grading scale that the college does. So you can read that. 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, etc. Now, this is different for those of you just coming from the high school. If you are, 60 to 69% is a D. So this is different from the high school grading scale. Your grade is based on I have the assignments add up to 1,000 points, right? But then I convert it to the 100% scale. And I do round up. I follow the mathematical rounding rules that you probably know of. So here are your assignments. You have the speech of introduction video. So that's where you're going to record yourself giving your speech of introduction. Again, just like I'm doing here, that's what you would do, although you can stand up. You do need to do it. Some people are like this. God, that's not how I want to record myself. So you want to try, when you record yourself, to at least kind of get torso up. We want to see your facial expressions. You want to be able to make some gestures. You can do it standing up as long as we can see you. But I'm telling you, don't have it like this where we're looking up your nose. Let me see if I can move my computer. You know, this is just unattractive, you all. Don't do it. If anything, up angle. See? People look much better like this. This is actually 2 up, but gosh, I could get this up a little bit more. But anyway, let you know, so we can kind of see you here, level. You can do it standing up, but we want to be able to, we want to make sure we can see you. And what else? And so the speech of introduction video, and then you have the speech of introduction paper or document, because remember, you're not going to turn in papers. If I accidentally say written or anything like that, I don't mean handwritten, I mean typed. And so your speech of introduction paper is really that document where you're going to type out your whole speech and then you're going to submit it through Blackboard. So it's the speech of introduction, but you have an oral part and a written part. So kind of think of it like that, the oral part and the outline, or the oral part and the written part. In this case, you're not doing an outline. It's a brief speech, so you're going to submit the whole speech for this. But it's very brief. You'll see. If you've already looked at the assignment, again, I am going to post another lecture that explains that. So then what else? You're going to have some chapter questions, some questions over the chapters in the book, the reading material, and also my lectures. I'm also going to give you chapter outlines for each chapter through Blackboard. So look for those. Those will be under the Handouts tab, And those chapter questions, I'm actually dividing into 2 parts. There's going to be a part 1 and a part 2, and they're each worth 50 points, so they add up to 100. Because I'm afraid if you do them, it's just going to be a lot to do all at once. So I've divided that into 2 parts when we get to your calendar. Then you have some business ethical questions. Chapter 1 actually talks about ethics, very important right now, business and communication ethics. And I'm going to actually give you some real cases, some real things that have happened. And then you're going to, using the terms from the book, you're going to explain what you would do and why. You're going to justify it ethically. That's what those are. Then there's some TED Talk summaries. So I have a couple of TED Talks I want you to watch. One is on dealing with stress. And the other is body language, because we do talk about nonverbal communication. And then the other one is my colleagues set up an electronic interview with Sarah Hurwitz, who was actually Michelle Obama's speechwriter. And so she shares a lot of great information about communicating, about writing, about finding your own voice. So that's all part of that summary assignment. So stay tuned. Then you'll have the interview, your mock interview assignment. So you'll have your interview assignment video where you're going to dress up like you would in an interview. And then if you have another person who can ask you the 5 interview questions and then you answer them, that would be great. If not, you just answer as if someone's asking you the questions. Again, I'm just previewing these assignments. You will have very specific instructions as we go along. In fact, I'm hoping to get all of that posted by the end of this week. So you'll have it there and you can look at it. So stay tuned. Then the interview assignment prep is the written part. You're going to have 10 standard interview questions that you have to actually, type your answers. When I say write, everything's typed in college. It's word processed, right? So you'll submit those typed answers. And then finally, last but not least, your final sales presentation, portfolio, which is the paper. It's the essay. Well, it's not really an essay though. It's a speech. It's a presentation. So it's written like a presentation. So that's your portfolio, the typed document. And then you'll also have the video of you doing the final sales presentation. What is that, you might ask? Here's what you typically have to do. You're going to, using the material from the course, you're going to create your own company. So you're going to have to tell us, what's your organization like? Why did you choose this? What's the culture of your organization like, etc. You'll see. Then you have to sell us an original product. So it needs to be a product that does not yet exist. It can be a new spin off something that does exist, but you've got to make it original. It has to be an original product, and you can have a little fun with this. It could be a mute button for humans, right? I mean, wouldn't that be great? You kind of have that already here with Zoom. I hope you're not muting me right now. But seriously, so you come up with an original product and apply all the course material to that product. To the presentation. There we go. I teach speech. It's okay. So all those, and you'll notice the final sales speech video is 200 points. So keep that in mind. Then how do you convert that to the 100%, the scale that I mentioned? So say you end up with 899 points at the semester's end. You would divide 899 by 1,000 points. Or just move the decimal, right? Move the decimal. 89.9. I follow rounding rules, so 90. And so you end up with an A in the course. Technically an A minus, but EPCC on your grade report does not have minuses and pluses. So heads up on that. How do I evaluate you? It's based on preparation, effort, and improvement, not on inherent communication ability or speaking ability. And I'll be giving you criteria for what I'm looking for as we go along. A lot of that is explained in each assignment, the instructions and whatnot. What about late work? Late work, because this course, you all, goes so quickly, late work, I will only accept late work if you've notified me prior to the due date. Otherwise, sorry, not accepting it. Email me, for goodness sakes. The name of the game is communication. Email me, email me, email me. If you run into the bind, email me. Communicate, but don't just, submit it 2 days later with nothing, thinking that I'm going to accept it. No. You need to email me ahead of time. If you get into a bind or something happens, email me. And if you notify me, so if you do notify me prior to that due date or due time, really, then I will make decisions on a case by case basis on whether or not to accept it. So I just do that case by case, and I decide whether I'm going to assess a penalty like 20 points off or not. So the name of the game, once again, is communicate with me. Keep in mind also, you all, that when I'm making those types of decisions, I have to balance mercy with fairness, right? I have to be fair to the other students that have submitted things on time. So keep that in mind. That said, as I said before, the name of the game is communication. I can't help you if you don't let me know what's going on. So, instructors' policies: don't drop the class without discussing it with me first. If you do decide to quit participating in the course, or I don't know when the drop date is, to be honest, for summer, I'll have to look it up, but and they'll let us know also. It's your responsibility to drop. I don't drop you. So you've got to figure out, look at Blackboard, look at your grades. Are you failing? Are you not? But speak to me first. Speak to me first. That's always a good idea. Email me, etc. Or we'll set up a conference. But again, this is an institutional deadline, you all. So if you miss it, I can't overturn it. Like, I can't just go, oh yeah, I'll switch you back to, I can't. And even the dean, they have very specific reasons why they can override that drop date. And a lot of times the dean can't even do it. That's an institutional deadline. So be careful with that. My poor daughter called me in, pretty much tears today. She's attending UT Austin, and she's studying speech pathology. And, it's a 6-year program. She has, after this semester, she has one more semester, and then she'll graduate. Okay, but then after that, she wants to work for a while and then get her master's in speech pathology, because you really need to get your master's to open up opportunities. And so, of course, it's very expensive. She needs scholarships, straight A student, right? But this semester she took statistics. And UT Austin, though, has a deal where, I guess because of COVID, you can designate certain classes to be pass-fail if you didn't do as well in them as you had hoped. So this one class, statistics, she made a C plus, right? C's get degrees though, you all. She made a C plus, and so she was just going to make that one pass-fail so it wouldn't affect her GPA. And guess what happened? She missed the date. She missed the date to do that. And she thought her advisor could just change it. And her advisor's going, it's an institutional deadline. So, what can you do? She's human. I told her, you're human. Lesson learned. Don't wait till the absolute last day you can do this. But the rest of your grades are good. March ahead, right? March ahead. C's get degrees. One bad grade and a sea of good ones is not gonna probably make or break you. Other things will open up. So I tell you that just as an example, try to stay on top of those deadlines, because the institutional ones, there's not a whole lot we can do, like with the drop dates, that is. Anyway, I rambled on about that, but it's fresh on my mind, so I thought I would pass it on. Then plagiarism policy and academic dishonesty. You all don't cheat and be careful, because I have to be careful with the stupid tool too. So when you submit documents, you probably already know this, there's a plagiarism tool that we put your papers through. And it'll highlight the text, and we can click and go straight to the original source. So make sure you're not copying that word for word. You can paraphrase it and then cite the source, but make sure that you're not copying somebody else's work, because they have the other student papers in the database, and so it's checking them against that. So be careful, be careful. Don't cheat. At least cite your source, or put it in your own words. Okay. And that's it. Just read that. Don't cheat. Other policies: respect the opinions and beliefs of others, although different from their own. This is better in a live classroom, but still, you want to go through this course imagining that you are giving your presentation to a live audience, at least to a live Zoom. It's going to be recorded, but I want you to imagine that it is live, that it's spontaneous, So kind of keep that in mind. If it's public, it's in a public forum, so you want to be careful. You want to make sure you represent yourself well, and that you stand by what you believe, but you also respect other people's opinions and beliefs. And hello, we have zero role models. Our Congress, oh lordy, our politicians, our leaders of the land. Okay. We have lost civility in public speaking. It's really amazing. And we've lost truth. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Just say it enough times and people will believe it, and it's okay. Even if there's no evidence. Okay, so this is extremely important. So be respectful of other people's opinions and beliefs. And we will talk more about that. It doesn't mean you cave on your own. It just, there's a way to present your ideas in a civil manner. Once again, on both sides of the aisle, we don't have a lot of role models for this. We have some, but not a lot. Most of all, have some fun in here. I hope you will enjoy this course. Have some fun. Learn to assert yourself effectively in practical organizational communication situations. So this is all to help you on the job. And I wish we were face-to-face, because I think what makes this course interesting is your own stories. Your stories from work, your stories from your life, your stories from a classroom situation, because again, I'm going to come back to kind of this classroom metaphor for those of you who don't have any work experience. So I hope you'll have some fun. This is very real. I want you to apply this to your real life situation. This material applies to real life. So have some fun with it. And again, it is geared to the job. So I really hope that this material helps you in the future. And I will be telling you some of my stories from my various work positions and things that have happened in my videos, and hopefully in your answers to the chapter questions and things like that. I want to hear about your experiences. I really ask for a lot of application in those answers. So I wish we were face to face, because that's what makes it fun, is the live stories. But you'll be hearing a lot of mine whether you want to or not. EPCC does have a lot of support services if you run into binds. So, call the main number if you need help. That we do have, if you have any kind, we have labs, we have tutors, the Writing Center. There is a Center for Students with Disabilities that's described in the Part 2 official course syllabus if you need help with that. You never know. If your laptop dies, you can get a laptop from IT. So anyway, we have a lot of support services. Use them if you need them. EPCC, like any good organization, has core values, and here they are. Communication, yay, number 1. Communication, competence, integrity, personal growth, respect, student success, and trust. So those are the core values of our organization, because colleges and universities are organizations, okay? They are businesses, they're organizations. So when you're creating your own company at the end of the month, you want to think about that. What is your company's mission statement? What is your company's core values? Okay. And instructions for writing assignments. First of all, everything needs to be typed. And this is, what a great communication thing that happened to me last semester. Semantics. This is called semantics, which I'll talk about later in another lecture. So semantics, because I think I said write it in your own words, or write. So whatever I said, I used the term writing, write. Okay. So the poor student thought that I wanted it handwritten. So they had to take pictures or scan it in. I don't know how they did it. So no, everything should be a typed document that you then submit through Blackboard, that you then upload. On the EPCC website, there is a place where you can do that. If you don't know how to do that, there's tutorials and whatnot that will help you do that. And if you need more information, just email me and I'll tell you where to go with those. And okay, so typed, use grammatically correct sentences, spell check, that fun thing. Please write them in English. I am a gringa. What can I say? My Spanish is muy mal. I understand more of it than I can speak it. And I have no excuse because I am local. I was born and raised here. I grew up. No excuse. Other than I took German in high school because they had better parties. But the German club did. So, but my mom, I should have listened to her. She said, what are you taking German for? Take Spanish. That's what you're going to use. And you know what? My mother was right. I should have listened to her. But so anyway, English, please. And same thing for the speeches. Give the speeches in English. And listen, don't worry. If I had to sit here and give a speech in Spanish, oh, Lord have mercy. So that's all right. That's why we're learning here. So just do the best you can, and we'll talk about what to do, some of the ways you can deliver a speech if it is in your second language. And then the main thing to do, actually, I might as well say it since we're talking about it, is you want to slow your rate down. You don't have to worry about going too fast. You're trying to get this out in your second language, so you want to just slow your delivery down. Don't try to rush it. And I do on your documents, and I know, they're coming through Blackboard. It's got your name there already. I don't care. It's just the way it looks. On the left-hand corner of your paper, okay, your left, not mine, you want to put your name, the date the assignment's due, and then speech 1321. Just please humor me and do that, okay? I don't know. I like the way it looks. And that's part one. That is part one of the syllabus. Hooray. Except for, oh, let me go to the calendar. In Blackboard, I did separate them. I put them in different places. I have the part one, the part two, and the calendar. The part two class, in the interest of time and money, because it's 34 minutes, I want you to go over that. And if you have any questions, it's basically repeating what I'm saying here. The objective of the course is to give you different skills in being an effective communicator at work. So yes, and you're going to also learn the communication theory. That's chapter one. We talk about communication theory and the model of communication. How does this thing called communication work? And you want to always keep that in mind and apply that communication theory. And sorry, now my phone's ringing. I'm not jumping up. How you can apply that communication theory to your own communication experiences. Okay, so you're going to learn some communication theory, very important. Will it ever stop ringing? I should have turned it off. Turn your phone off when you make your videos. Put it on silent. And I have a boring ringtone. Anyway, so the objectives are you'll learn some communication theory. Yes, you're going to learn about different models of organization and how those different models create the culture of the organization. You're going to learn about handling diversity within organizations, your communication style, how to adapt your communication style to different situations. You're going to learn about effective listening, because that's a big part, right? That's a huge part, actually, of communication. So many mistakes. Businesses lose millions of dollars every year due to poor listening, to poor listening mistakes. That's another thing that we'll talk about. You're gonna go over nonverbals, body language at work, how you present yourself, all that. So all that fun kind of stuff with nonverbals. Obstacles to communication, one of the big ones being communication anxiety. Oh my God, we get nervous, we get anxious, whether it be when we have to give a presentation to a group or just interpersonally. Maybe it's like, I don't even want to say anything in this small group, this team. What are they gonna think of me? So interpersonal, so whether that obstacles to communication. Also a little bit about sexual harassment, gender, ethnicity, that kind of thing. How do you navigate that? Oh my Lord, not again. Hold on, I'm going to stop for a minute.